picture this. You're standing in a store, staring at a giant wall of foundation. You grab a bottle, right?
Right.
And you kind of hold it up to your neck, hoping it matches. But last year alone, shoppers bought, literally billions of dollars worth of beauty products based on that exact guesswork.
Oh, absolutely.
They took them home, unboxed them, put them on once, and almost immediately threw them straight into the trash, destined for a landfill.
Because the store lighting is just, well, it's deceiving.
Exactly. Under those buzzing fluorescent store lights, it looked like a perfect match. But in your own bathroom, totally different color. We're talking about a massive chunk of this $890 billion retail return crisis.
Yeah, that number is just staggering.
It really is, and it's driven heavily by bad lighting, awkward in-store testers, and, just absolute guesswork. But what if your mirror could mathematically prove a shade matched your skin tone before you even picked up the bottle?
It sounds like complete science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it is solving a very real and, like you said, a very expensive problem.
Right.
For decades, this is an industry that has essentially forced the consumer to take a leap of faith.
Totally.
You either trust store lighting that artificially alters how color reflects off your skin, or, even worse, you trust a two-dimensional, heavily edited image on a website.
Oh, those are the worst. You're just praying it translates to your actual face.
Exactly. You're hoping it translates perfectly to the three-dimensional geometry of your specific face.
Right.
And it rarely does.
And that leap of faith leads to incredible amounts of buyer's remorse, plus a ton of physical waste. But today's deep dive is about a company that is actively trying to engineer that guesswork entirely out of the equation.
Yes.
We are diving into a really fascinating article by Shish S. about a startup called PulpoAR.
Which is such an interesting company right now.
They really are. They're a Microsoft for Startups Pegasus partner, and their mission is to merge incredibly complex AI and augmented reality with the highly subjective, deeply personal world of beauty retail. Okay, let's unpack this. Because how do you actually build a frictionless digital layer over something as messy and, physical as makeup testing?
It's tough.
Because tracking a solid object like a hat is one thing, but makeup literally blends into your skin.
Yeah, you really have to completely rethink how a camera interprets a human face. PulpoAR isn't just making, a single gimmick filter for a social app.
Right, not just dog ears.
Exactly. They are building a comprehensive product suite for actual beauty brands. And the foundational engineering challenge they had to solve first, the really big one, was lighting and shade matching.
Okay.
Because, as you mentioned, the ambient light in your bathroom is entirely different from the light in a Sephora or, walking down a sunny street.
Wait, if I have a warm yellow light bulb in my bedroom lamp, my phone camera is going to think my skin is naturally more yellow than it actually is, right?
Precisely.
So how do they bypass that? How are they not just recommending the wrong foundation shade based on whatever random lighting is in my specific room?
So they utilize these highly advanced color calibration algorithms. The AI doesn't just look at the pixels of your skin. It actually analyzes the ambient light in the background of the video feed.
Oh, wow. It looks at the whole room.
Yeah, it calculates the color temperature of your entire environment. So whether it's a cool blue daylight coming through a window or a warm indoor tungsten bulb.
Okay.
And it essentially reverse engineers that light out of the equation to determine your true, absolute skin tone.
That is so smart.
It really is. And only then does their AI shade finder deliver its instant matches for foundation or concealer or blush.
I love that. It's actually exactly like how our human brain automatically color corrects a white shirt.
What do you mean?
Like if you see a white shirt under a blue neon sign, you still know the shirt is white, right? Even though your eyes are technically seeing blue light.
Oh, yeah, that's a great analogy.
The computer vision has to be trained to do that exact same automatic white balancing. Because otherwise, the whole system just fails before you even try anything on.
Exactly. And once they solve that lighting hurdle, they could tackle the next major mechanism, which is the 3D mesh.
Right.
This is the core of their flagship experience, the AR virtual makeup try-on. The technology allows shoppers to layer multiple products simultaneously, so you could do foundation, eyeshadow, and lip color all at once.
Oh, cool. So it's a full look.
Yeah, but to keep it from looking like a flat, creepy mask just painted over the video feed, the software utilizes something called micro anchors.
Okay, wait. What are micro anchors?
So the camera identifies over 100 specific facial landmarks The exact curve of your nostril, the corner of your eye, the dip of your Cupid's bow.
Wow, over 100.
Yeah. And it builds an invisible three-dimensional wireframe mesh over your face in real time.
Oh.
Because it maps to depth, not just a flat image, the makeup stays perfectly attached to your actual features.
Okay, I see.
You can turn your head, talk, laugh, and the lipstick doesn't detach and, float in the air next to your mouth.
Right, which requires massive computing power to do without lagging.
Oh, absolutely.
And that actually explains that Microsoft for Startups Pegasus partnership the article mentioned.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's a very exclusive tier that gives startups access to enterprise-grade AI infrastructure. If you are processing millions of real-time video feeds and building 3D wireframes on the fly, you need serious cloud compute. Otherwise, the app is just going to crash everyone's phones.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is how that same 3D mesh unlocks entirely different capabilities.
Oh, what?
Well, because the AI is already mapping your face so intimately, PulpoAR was able to build an AI skin analysis and skin simulator tool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the AI actually detects very specific microscopic textures, things like wrinkles, oiliness, dark circles, and dark spots. And then it turns that visual analysis into personalized skincare recommendations.
Wait. So if it knows the exact depth and location of a dark circle because of that mesh,
Yeah,
it can actually simulate what removing it looks like.
exactly. That's the skin simulator. It visualizes how your specific skin could look after using the recommended treatments.
That's wild.
It's applying a localized, targeted modification just to that one area of the mesh. It's not just generically blurring your whole face like an old Instagram filter.
Right.
And they even extend this whole depth mapping logic to their AR nail polish try-on.
Okay, yeah, I was reading about that nail polish feature. And the occlusion, the way objects block other objects from view, that seems like an absolute nightmare to program.
Oh, it is.
Because your fingers are constantly moving over and under each other.
It is an incredibly difficult computer vision problem. You take a short quiz that factors in your skin tone and style, but then the camera has to map the exact perimeter of each individual nail bed in real time.
Just continuously tracking it.
Right. Accounting for your specific nail shape as you move. And it doesn't just paint a flat color. The rendering engine actually factors in the specific finish of the polish.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It calculates how digital light should reflect off a matte finish versus a glitter or a metallic finish on your moving hands. And all of this happens without ever opening a bottle.
That is just wild to me. Being able to mathematically preview a metallic reflection on a moving thumbnail.
Yeah.
We are so far beyond those early social media filters where, the dog ears would fly off your head if you sneeze.
Completely different universe.
We're talking about delivering actual practical retail utility here. So, okay, we know the tech is legitimately impressive.
Very.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. The business case.
Yes, the numbers.
We are talking about a massive industry, and I want to look at the sheer undeniable ROI that is driving these massive retailers to adopt this so quickly.
Well, the macro numbers are just staggering. According to the State of Fashion Beauty report from the Business of Fashion and McKinsey, the global beauty market reached roughly $441 billion in 2024.
$441 billion.
Yeah, and it is forecast to grow steadily at about 5% annually through 2030.
I mean, a 5% growth rate is super healthy for a mature market.
Definitely.
But the technology layer underneath it, that is a completely different story.
Oh, completely. According to Mordor Intelligence data, the virtual try-on market specifically was valued at $15.18 billion in 2025. And they project it will hit $48.1 billion by 2030.
That is a compound annual growth rate of nearly 26%.
Yeah.
26% year over year. I mean, that means this tech isn't just growing alongside the beauty market. It is actively cannibalizing traditional retail and marketing budgets.
Exactly. Brands are pulling money out of print ads and physical sample manufacturing and pouring it directly into AR.
Because the return on investment is immediate and it's measurable.
Completely measurable. When Sephora deployed AR shade matching, they didn't just see a slight bump. They recorded 35% higher engagement and a 200% increase in product trials.
Well, a 200% increase in trials makes complete logical sense.
Right.
Because if you remove the physical friction, the act of putting on makeup, scrubbing it off with a wipe, irritating your skin, and then putting another one on, people will naturally try on 10 times as many shades.
Exactly. You just tap a button.
But what really blew my mind was the sheer scale of the rollout at Ulta Beauty. They used shopping lenses to drive 30 million virtual product trials. 30 million.
And the most vital metric there is the cost efficiency. Those 30 million trials were executed at a cost of less than a penny per interaction.
Less than a penny. I mean, I literally sat down and tried to think of any other marketing channel that cheap.
Look.
You cannot even print a physical paper coupon for less than a penny anymore. The ink and the cardstock alone cost more than that,
Right.
let alone paying someone to hand it out, hoping the customer walks into a store and hoping they actually put the product on their face. Generating a hyper-personalized 3D product trial for a fraction of a cent is an absolute marketing superpower.
It is. And PulpoAR's own case data reflects this exact same momentum. They report an average 12% add-to-cart conversion rate directly from these experiences.
12% is huge.
It really is. And that results in a 33% uplift in overall order value.
Right.
Because when shoppers see a product accurately mapped to their own unique geometry and their own skin tone, they simply buy with far more confidence than if they were just, squinting at a generic swatch photo on a model.
Right. When you remove the doubt, you remove the barrier to purchase.
Exactly.
But wait. If the tech is driving 33% larger orders and it's costing literally pennies on a mobile phone, shouldn't retail just move entirely online?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, I mean, why do we still have physical stores at all if my phone camera is this good?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the physical store is surprisingly resilient.
Well,
In fact, that same Mordor research found that as of 2024, physical brick-and-mortar stores still accounted for roughly 63% of the virtual try-on spend.
wait, really? The majority of virtual try-on spend is happening inside a physical building?
Yes, through in-store smart mirrors. And even more telling, those in-store smart mirrors lifted conversions by around 40% compared to mobile-only AR.
Okay, that completely flips the script. I would have assumed everyone was just doing this on their couches at home.
No, consumers still want the destination experience.
Yeah.
They want to go to the store, feel the energy of the beauty counter, maybe interact with some experts.
That makes sense.
But once they get there, they want the efficiency of digital. And crucially, they want the hygiene.
Oh, the hygiene, yes.
So for decades, the standard practice was to dip a shared wand or use a shared tester that literally hundreds of other people had touched that day.
Yeah.
The smart mirror and their conversational AI advisor, which is called Skin GPT, provides a completely touchless, hygienic alternative. And post-pandemic, consumers don't just prefer that, they expect it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the communal testers were always a little sketchy to begin with.
Definitely.
But now, they are a complete deal breaker for a lot of people.
Okay, but I have to push back here a little bit.
Because if the conversion numbers are this incredible 12% add to cart, 40% lift from smart mirrors, literal pennies per interaction, why isn't every single brand doing this right now?
That's the big question.
Right. Why am I still seeing static, badly photoshopped images on half the beauty sites I visit? If this is a flawless victory for retail, what is the catch?
The catch is deep industry friction and massive consumer distrust.
Interesting.
Despite these staggering ROI numbers, McKinsey's State of Beauty 2025 report found that only 10% of beauty executives surveyed actually use AI regularly.
Only 10%.
Yeah. 60% are stuck in what they call an exploratory phase.
Yeah.
Basically, they're standing on the edge of the diving board looking at the water, but they just haven't jumped in yet.
Which is wild for a $441 billion industry. But honestly, as a
Yeah.
consumer, I completely get the hesitation.
Oh, yeah.
If I see an AI-generated face online or a brand talking about, AI beauty, I immediately assume it is heavily filtered, airbrushed, and totally fake.
Because historically, it usually was.
Exactly. The beauty industry has a 100-year history of selling unrealistic synthetic perfection. So how does a brand actually build trust when the technology they're using is fundamentally associated with altering reality?
That is the crucial hurdle right there. And to understand how industry analysts solve it, we really have to look at how different AI architectures actually work under the hood.
Okay.
Because the McKinsey research highlights that 58% of consumers actively distrust beauty content created by generative AI.
Right. Because generative AI hallucinates things.
Exactly. Generative AI creates net new pixels based on probabilities.
Yeah.
If you ask it for a picture of a face with red lipstick, it generates a synthetic model by guessing what a perfect face should look like.
Right. It's making it up.
It's creating a flawless illusion that doesn't exist in the real world. Consumers hate that for beauty shopping because it feels like deceptive marketing.
Totally.
But what PulpoA is doing is rooted in analytical AI.
Okay, break down the difference for me. How is analytical AI different if they're both just using algorithms?
Analytical AI applies rigid constraints to existing real-world data. It doesn't invent a new face. It analyzes the exact dimensions of your actual face and applies a very strict mathematical overlay, the exact color of the lipstick onto your true physical dimensions.
I see.
It's a practical utility tool, not a synthetic image generator. It shows exactly how the lipstick will look on your specific lips, the shadows, the asymmetry, all of it. And analysts agree that AI in beauty only succeeds when it delivers that kind of honest, practical utility.
I love that distinction. It's like generative AI is like a painter who might accidentally give you 3 fingers because they got confused.
Right, exactly.
But analytical AI is like an architect tracing a very specific real-world blueprint.
That is a great way to look at it.
It's not about generating a fake, perfect you. It's about utility, just helping the real you find the right concealer.
Exactly.
But to pull that off and to overcome that 58% consumer distrust stat, a tech company can't just be good at writing code, right?
No, not at all. They have to deeply understand the aesthetics and the very specific nuances of the beauty industry itself.
Right.
And this brings us to the playbook PulpoAR is running. They are marrying hardcore engineering with actual beauty industry DNA.
Okay.
The company is led by founders Onur Kandin, Burhan Bayat, and Rayan Godoy. Now, this is an intensely engineering-focused team with more than a decade of experience in AI and computer vision.
So they know the tech inside and out.
Oh, completely. They run on a core group of 27 engineers, and they're supported by a network of over 100 partner developers.
Okay, so extremely heavy tech credentials to build those 3D meshes and algorithms.
Very heavy. But crucially, their leadership also includes a former Estee Lauder innovation director.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and their advisory board features executives with senior leadership experience at massive beauty conglomerates like Coty and Guerlain.
See, that is the secret sauce right there.
Yeah, that bridges the gap.
Lots of tech bros in Silicon Valley can code a red hex color to stick on a mouth in a camera feed. But knowing how beauty brands actually merchandise their lines, knowing how they market to different demographics, and how they actually measure the success of a physical product launch, that is what makes the technology credible.
It really is.
It's like having a master mechanic who is also a Formula One driver. They don't just know how the engine works on a laptop. They know exactly how the car feels on the track.
That's a perfect analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And that combined expertise shows up directly in how the product is built. For example, they prioritize inclusive design.
It is so important.
Their AI is explicitly trained on highly diverse data sets so that the ambient light calibration and the facial tracking work accurately across all skin tones, all face shapes, and all ages.
Right.
In the beauty space, accuracy across the full spectrum of humanity isn't just a nice PR talking point. It determines whether the math works at all.
Absolutely.
If an AI shade finder only works on a narrow range of light skin tones, it is worse than useless. It actively damages the brand's reputation.
Yeah, it has to mathematically work for everyone, or basically it doesn't work for anyone.
Precisely.
But speaking of mapping everyone's faces, whenever we talk about wireframing facial landmarks and tracking features, my mind just immediately goes to privacy.
Naturally.
Are these in-store smart mirrors secretly saving a massive database of all of our bare faces?
That is a very real and very valid concern. Analyst research from Grandview Research actually identifies data privacy as one of the main restraints on beauty tech adoption right now.
I believe it.
Consumers are hyper-aware of biometric tracking, but PulpoAR states that their platform does not store or share personal images or biometric data, and they are fully GDPR compliant.
Okay, so the data is ephemeral.
Yes.
It passes through the RAM to build the mesh. It analyzes the face to put the makeup on, but it immediately deletes the data. It doesn't keep a permanent scan of your facial geometry on a server somewhere in Nevada.
Correct. And by making that architectural decision, by intentionally not storing biometric data, they actually turn a privacy-first approach into a commercial weapon.
Oh, how so?
Well, brands can deploy this technology in their stores without taking on the massive legal and cybersecurity liability of storing millions of sensitive facial scans.
Oh, that makes total sense. Which means the brands can adopt it infinitely faster because it doesn't have to get tied up in legal review for 6 months.
Exactly.
And from the article, it sounds like speed and accessibility are a huge part of their strategy to actually capture the market.
Definitely. They offer omni-channel flexibility. That means the exact same analytical AI technology works as a web plugin on a laptop, inside mobile apps, and on those physical smart mirrors we talked about.
Right, it's everywhere.
Brands only have to digitize their product catalog once to have a consistent experience everywhere. Plus, they offer self-service sign-up, and they partner with Google AR.
Wow, okay.
This lowers the barrier to entry significantly. It allows mid-sized, independent brands to offer the exact same virtual try-on capabilities as the massive luxury conglomerates.
So what does this all mean? We've unpacked the underlying mechanisms, the color calibration and the 3D meshes. We've talked about the 30 million virtual try-ons for pennies, the massive ROI, and how they navigate consumer distrust with analytical utility rather than generative fluff.
Yeah.
But bringing it all back home to you, the listener, why does this actually matter for the broader economy? Why should anyone care if someone can digitally swatch a matte nail polish?
It comes all the way back to the scenario you opened with.
The returns.
It comes down to waste. Extreme financial waste and devastating environmental waste.
Yes, the return numbers. We touched on it briefly, but the scale is honestly hard to comprehend.
The National Retail Federation projected total retail returns to reach an unbelievable $890 billion in 2024.
$890 billion.
$890 billion of merchandise going backward through the supply chain. And wrong shade purchases contribute heavily to that figure in the beauty category.
And the thing is, unlike a sweater that you order online, try on, realize it doesn't fit, and return, which, can just be folded, steamed, and put back on the rack.
Right.
Returned, open cosmetics are biohazards.
Exactly.
They usually go straight into a landfill. You cannot legally or safely resell a used mascara or an opened liquid foundation.
No, you can't.
Plus, think about all those physical tester wands, the little plastic spoons at the beauty counter, the makeup wipes. The physical waste generated just by the act of deciding what to buy is monumental.
It's massive.
So a flawless virtual try-on solves both the huge financial hit to the retailer and the environmental impact of returned unusable products.
It does. It adds a layer of recommendation, quality, and efficiency that traditional marketing simply cannot match.
Absolutely.
But, this raises an important question, one that I think we all need to consider as this technology rapidly evolves.
Okay, what is it?
As these analytical AI systems become absolutely flawless at mapping our unique skin tones, calculating ambient light, and analyzing our microscopic flaws to recommend perfect treatments, will the physical beauty counter of the future cease to be a place where we physically try things on?
Oh, wow.
Will it instead become a purely clinical showroom?
A clinical showroom.
Yeah, a highly sterile place where we just go to interact with our perfectly mapped, highly optimized digital avatars. Basically letting the AI tell us exactly what we need without our physical skin ever touching a product until we've already paid for it.
That is a wild thought to leave on. A clinical showroom for our digital avatars.
It changes everything.
It really entirely changes the definition of what going shopping actually means.
Yeah.
We are moving away from hoping a color looks good on us under fluorescent lights to demanding mathematical proof before we even reach for our wallets.
Truly.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into PulpoAR and the engineering behind the future of beauty tech. The next time you find yourself standing in that massive beauty aisle, staring at a wall of little glass bottles, keep questioning the reality of the experience. And maybe, just maybe, see if there's a smart mirror nearby. Catch you next time.